Today, I want to talk about whether the current run-up or the current sneeze is a fake squeeze created by the hedge funds to steal more money from retail investors, or if it's the real deal. So stay tuned and let's make some money. But now I'll dive straight in with the key information. So, first, I wanted to lift the spirits and I saw this tweet and a brilliant meme to follow. So the best letter tweeted saying, breaking news. Citadel Research, one of the largest equity research firms in the world, announces they're short GameStop. Now, the last time Citadel Research tried shorting GameStop back in 2021, they lost hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and got caught during the squeeze. The founder of the hedge fund, Andrew Left, was then investigated by the SEC and the Department of Justice for improper shorting and said that he couldn't even live a normal life. He was so worried about this investigation from the Department of Justice and the hatred from retail investors that he was scared to leave his home. He clearly hasn't learnt his lesson as he's once again trying to short GameStop. As I said, I saw this absolutely brilliant meme tweeted by Deep Ripper saying, so there you could see Stone Cold Steve Austin or RoaringKitty hitting Citadel Research with the stunner and absolutely foiling their plans. Which obviously has happened once again in 2024. RoaringKitty is back and GameStop has been on an absolutely massive run. But the thing I've been questioning is whether this is a fake squeeze created by the hedge funds to steal more money from retail investors. This is something we've been told and something we've thought about for years now. Would the hedge funds try and create a fake squeeze to entice and potentially trap more retail investors, or to try and convince them to sell their shares so they can escape from their short positions? Think about it. The hedge funds run up AMC and GameStop, more people buying even more shares at the top expecting the squeeze, which they then bring the price down, hopefully begging more people to sell, more people to turn into paper hands and sell their shares to those hedge funds. Now, obviously, we know about Jim Simons, an elite hedge fund manager who recently bought 1 million shares of GameStop before the meme stock's 400% surge. And not only that, but Citadel also increased their call position and reduced their put position, but I'll touch on that in a second. So Zip Trader had tagged that article or had posted that article and added the comment saying, "Who did you tell before posting the memes?" Now, I don't think this was done on purpose by the RoaringKitty, but what I'm thinking is as a result of his investigation back in 2021, there was some kind of gag order or something that said that he couldn't post on social media, on Twitter or YouTube or anything else for, say, 3.5 years. I reckon some hedge fund managers like Jim Simons, maybe like Citadel, somehow got a hold of that gag order, maybe legally or illegally, and knew which date RoaringKitty could speak again. They knew maybe that RoaringKitty could speak again on the 14th of May. They hazarded a guess that he would come back and tweet about GameStop. They hazarded a guess that that would absolutely cause retail involvement and potentially a run-up. So these hedge funds bought shares in advance and then pushed the stock price up, creating this fake squeeze. That's why Jim Simons bought 1 million GameStop shares, coincidentally just before this run-up. And as I said, interestingly, Citadel also increased their call options by 190% on AMC and reduced their puts by 42%. So they tripled down on their calls and half their puts at a coincidental time just days before RoaringKitty returns. And especially as we know, it's Citadel that controls the price, and if Citadel has added call options, I wonder what's going to happen to the price. If Citadel all of a sudden has a vested interest in the price increasing and they control that price, well, obviously the price is going to go up. All of a sudden, when they're holding way more calls than they are put options, all of a sudden the price skyrockets. Now, obviously, I'm not saying this is absolutely what's happening. I'm not saying the current run-up couldn't be the squeeze. I think so far it's too early to tell. We've seen AMC and GameStop run up slightly. It's now having a pullback, but maybe it continues next week. But this, I think, is very much food for thought, as these hedge funds all of a sudden somehow knew exactly when or why or how to load up on shares of GameStop and AMC days before RoaringKitty's return. Now, you'll remember last video I went through the 1000% gainer we had in the Millionaire Mindset Trading Group, and we followed that up with another back-to-back day with another 437% gainer. Obviously, the other day we saw FFIE, a tiny penny stock, absolutely running thousands and thousands of percentage points. That then triggered more of a run in more penny stocks, and we caught another great one with CRKN. Now, you can see I posted in the pre-market telling the group that I was watching CRKN all the way back when it had a pre-market high of just 9 cents per share. Later in the day, it then got that breakout where I told the group I was taking a lottery play on CRKN, and told the group when I was up 75% and had sold my shares. Zep and Profitable and tons of other members in the group joined in on the trade, Zep locking in 40% gains and Profitable buying at the breakout and selling for 38 cents per share. For this weekend only, I'm going to offer a special ape discount. If you're currently holding shares of AMC or GameStop, send me a screenshot to the email linked in the description below for a 20% off discount code, 20% off the monthly membership, or 20% off the lifetime membership. And interestingly enough, RoaringKitty also posted this video as to why RoaringKitty cannot talk because he'd be in big trouble.
Say something, goddammit! You're on television!
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
So there we go. If RoaringKitty speaks on what happened or what is happening, he's going to be in big trouble. And he doesn't want to be in big trouble. Maybe that's also as to why RoaringKitty hasn't yet started a stream. Maybe his gag order now allows him to post on Twitter, but doesn't yet allow him to stream. I also don't think RoaringKitty's the bad guy in this situation. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I don't think he's colluding with the hedge funds. I think the hedge funds could just potentially be taking advantage. I think they're doing it without him knowing. I don't think he's involved and colluding with them. I think it's just a byproduct of his tweeting. Especially as the former SEC chairman said yesterday that RoaringKitty has just manipulated GameStop by tweeting memes. So Tommy Tuberville is allowed to trade options on companies he legislates, and Nancy Pelosi's portfolio hits all-time highs as she decides which laws go through to Congress, or at least is involved in that decision-making process. But RoaringKitty is not allowed to tweet memes. As Colin says, it's very much rules for thee, but not for me. I think it really is absolutely ridiculous what these members of Congress can get away with, but yet regular, everyday retail investors seemingly aren't even allowed to post on Twitter or Reddit or on YouTube. All of a sudden, as soon as people start posting on Reddit, it's collusion, and as soon as someone with a large following posts memes, it's manipulation. Now, I also want to touch on what I think could potentially be happening with AMC and GameStop over the next week, with a little bit of help from the French AMC ape. I tried drawing the same basic chart, but I think it shows up a little bit nicer from his screenshot from Webull, but AMC and GameStop are still in this same ascending pattern. Obviously, both AMC and GameStop experienced a run over the last few days and over the last few days of last week. Obviously, this massive explosion and now a pullback. We're still holding, as you can see, this upward trending line, and therefore next week is really when the decision happens. Either we continue trading sideways for a few days or a few weeks before pushing up further, or we immediately bounce off this upward trending line, pushing higher straight away next week. Maybe it's a similar scenario to what we saw in January and June of 2021. We've just experienced a small January run-up before a later pump, maybe in June, July, or in August. That could then trigger the squeeze in a few weeks or a few months' time, providing we hold these higher elevated levels, or maybe we instantaneously pump to new highs next week. As I said earlier in the video, I think it's too soon just yet to figure out whether this is a fake run up, a fake sneeze, a fake squeeze, or if it's the real deal. Whether it's going to happen on Monday morning, whether it's going to happen next week on Friday, or whether it's not going to happen for another few weeks or a few months. Maybe the shorts need to experience this stress more. Maybe they add to their short position thinking they've got us on the ropes all of a sudden for retail to come back with a vengeance like what happened back in June of 2021. Either way, I think these are very exciting times and we're seeing action, volatility, volume and attention that we've not seen over the last 3 years. So guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.